that big fat butt. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just a little bit. Patty cake with no hands.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Week 14 episode of the Fantasy Hangover podcast. Joined my guy, Joe Lukancic, a.k.a. Sarge. And this is the last week of the regular season. We got 1 week left, so we've got a lot to talk about in this episode. Me and Casey are both 10-3. I am the new number one seed. We both have the bye, guaranteed, lock it in. Now it's just kind of a debate between who gets that 1 seed and who gets that 2 seed. And that is a kind of a good debate because our 3 seed down there is EGE 8-5. Nobody wants to play him in round 2. You know, me and Casey both want to avoid him. You know, shout out to Owen. He's got a good squad. So it's going to be a good battle this week for who can get the 1 seed. Joe, you got the 4 seed. You have officially #clinched. And then we got clinched on a loss. We only have 2 teams eliminated completely down there at the bottom. You see Brawny's boys 4-9. The LMHTs are 3-10. So we've got a 4-man race for 2 spots. Right now, if the season were to end today, Kyle and Chigs at both 6-7. Yeah, I know. They would be in the playoffs. But Petey is also 6-7. He does not have the point advantage, but he does play Kyle coming up. That's a win and in game for either of those two. And then Dell has a 3% chance. ESPN's given him. He's 5-8. Needs a lot of things to go right, but he is still mathematically in it. That'll bring us into our Week 13 box scores. We'll start off with the first game, Joe. We played each other, and it was not very exciting. 2 playoff teams, you know, at face value, this sounds like a great battle, but it was not. I won 108-93. Had a ton of guys go on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Oh, we did not cover this in the trade corner last week because I made the deal just after we filmed and uploaded the video. Devontae Adams is a member of my squad now. I traded away Caleb, Rome, and Metcalf for Devontae. So I'm pushing all the chips in on Devontae Adams. He has 11 touchdowns in the last 6 weeks. He tacked on 2 more from my squad in this one, put up 21 points. Led me to a kind of a lame victory, but, you know, a win is a win. We'll take that. Joe, how you feeling about Paul's pals?
Because the frustrating thing is here, I mean, I contemplated and I didn't want to start anybody on Thanksgiving. Just wanted to enjoy my Thanksgiving this year. Fantasy, you know, it's kind of been an up and down season in this league. I know I'm in a lot of leagues. I think I'm out of the ones on ESPN. I think I'm in 8 leagues, and I have clinched for the playoffs. I've clinched in the playoffs for every single league so far. So it's been a pretty solid year in fantasy, but this one we've had some bumps and didn't want to start Zay Flowers. Ended up doing that, and my God, that was just it cost me because I would have rolled with Brian Thomas. So I mean, it would have been 4 more points, but that wouldn't have mattered. But what ended up happening, long story short, I had Jackson Dart and Pat's D against each other. Pat's D ended up having like 13 points, would have been an extra 12, and I think I would have beat Cole.
No, you would have lost.
If I did.
Oh, if you started BTJ and Pat.
BTJ, yeah.
Yes.
So it's just, like I said, if it was a playoff game, I'd be really mad. But like I said, I clinched on a loss, can't be happier. I'm in, and the whole reason the trade deadline, yes, I wish I had a trade left headed this week, but I'm glad I'm in the playoffs, and I'm ready to roll.
Looking towards the future, how are you feeling about your team? And then after that, how are you feeling about my team in the playoffs?
My team, we're just going to have to play major upset card. I planned this way back in week, whatever. I ran out of trades week 11. I traded for the first round of the fantasy matchup, and that's why I'm so excited. And we're gonna come back at this. I'm getting my ass whooped, but I hope I play Owen. I will tell you right now, I will beat Owen in the first round of the playoffs as I draw Owen. I planned for this moment because my team, matchup-wise, is locked and loaded. Owen's not good matchups, and I'm telling you right now, EGE will be going down if my team is playing him round 1. Paul's team, the Pauls are great.
Thank you. That is unlikely. You would have to get the 6 seed. Right now you're the 4, so you'd actually have to drop a couple spots. So right now you'd be in that 4-5 matchup.
You don't have to, because, I mean, looking at it right now, we look at it point-wise, Kyle and Z. So if Kyle and Z win, they're 4-5. I'm the 6th seed if I lose, which I'm going to lose to Owen this week.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Been planning for this. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Next week's a big episode. We'll update you guys
Oh, it
then.
is.
We'll head into the next game, another fun one. Casey's Crusaders were on a 9-game winning streak, I believe, 10-game winning streak. It was unbelievable. They were 10-2. They finally fall to 10-3. Drop a heartbreaker, I would say, to Chigs. Chigs had a really, really solid bounce back week. The highest scoring team scored 147 points. Look at that flex and special teams. 28 from Jamison Williams, 28 from Seahawks D, 19 from Jason Myers. That wasn't even really a 147-point caliber performance. His running backs both combined for 15 points. His tight end had 5. Defense and special teams, man. It's an underrated part of the game. Good stuff from Dammit Roger. And finally, Casey loses a game. He's getting lucky all year long. Got a little bit of bad luck here with Amon-Ra St. Brown going down with that injury. I'm not worried about his team long term. He's got a great squad, made a lot of deals that we'll talk about in the trade corner. I guess what are your outlooks for both of these teams going into Week 14 and then the playoffs after that?
Once we get into the trade quarter, like you said, well, Casey's team, there's a lot of noise, but just hope, well, for his sake, Amon-Ra's got to come back. And then Z, if Z gets in, he's gonna make some noise. I think it just if he gets in, that's the thing. So who does he got this week?
That's a great question.
I'll check here. Z's got, I think he's got Dell. No, he's got Lick My Whole Tyrrell.
Oh,
Battle of the
win.
Nolies.
Free
My
win.
God.
Yeah, his team's gonna make a splash. So he is one of those 4 teams fighting for those 2 spots. Joe, if you were to predict right now, out of those 4 teams, who are the 2 that gets in?
You know what?
It's pretty much just going to be Chigs and then so basically it's Chigs plus who's going to win, Petey or Kyle.
Call me crazy. I'm gonna go a little crazy here.
No, don't.
I'm gonna say we're gonna go. What would it be? It would have to be Kyle. Kyle beats Petey. Christ beats. I'm not saying this will happen, but Christ beats Z. Dell beats you. Dell's in the playoffs. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'll stay. You know what? I'm gonna go with the posse. I'm gonna go posse and Z.
Wow.
The standings end up being Pals, Crusaders, Young, Z, me, posse.
There we go. All right, we'll head into the next highest scoring team, EGE, 145 points, a legit 145, but his defense and special teams did do some great stuff as well. Beat Brawny's boys, just great team, just a bad season. Yeah, this is one of these things.
Boys.
They're on to 2026. The boys are on to 26. So I guess we can kind of ignore his team because he's irrelevant right now. Sorry, Braun. EGE, we talk about it. They're a scary, scary team down in that 3-hole. How do you feel about their squad?
I mean, if Lamar just starts playing much better, his team's going to be even better than it is now. But like I said, you look at his matchups, week 1, whoever he draws, Lamar's got a favorable matchup, but you have Achane against Pittsburgh, Cook against New England. His running backs have terrible matchups, right? And then you have Rice against the Chargers. They play pretty well against the pass.
Yes.
You don't know Drake London's Thursday night, so if he doesn't play this weekend, he'll probably be prepping for Thursday, but that's a quick turnaround if he doesn't play this weekend. So
Who's
you're
his
looking
flex
ahead
gonna be?
here.
His flex will be
Huh?
Mark Andrews at flex? Or
Yeah, it's got he's got Blake Corum. Corum's an interesting one because they're resting, but he's got Detroit, and they're the best run defense in the league. So I don't know. They're resting Kyron for the playoffs, it sounds like. So a lot of interesting factors there, but his matchups next week don't, like, all of his good matchups are the 2 weeks after. The first week are his toughest ones, and if he can't get past that,
upset watch. EGE
you're on upset watch.
is on upset watch. That'll take us into kind of a snooze fest. The LMHTs score 102. What's new? And Kyle scored 112, picked up a win on the back of a 31-point Bijan Robinson performance. Dak with a nice 21 on Thanksgiving. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be real blunt. I think Kyle's team is bad. I think he is just a textbook first-round exit. He was that last year. That's what got him that 5 pick. I think he's going to be picking in that same 5 or 6 area again. Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, that's unfortunately what it seems like for KPK here. It's just his team, it kind of battled some Bucky for a while. Hampton's back. His team's getting healthier, but that's why I dish Genty away. Genty's matchups, playoff-wise, are... And that's why I think winning early in fantasy, and this is for everybody, if you win early in your fantasy leagues, you have the luxury of being able to prep for that future. And I'm glad I was able to do that because I, like I said, lost Neighbors, Scadaboo, Tyreek. Probably there's some more guys in there, but it's just I was able to win early. If you win early, it's a lot easier to just, all right, I need to lock in a lineup for later on in the season. And unfortunately, some people in this league weren't able to do that.
Yeah, don't love Kyle's squad. All right, it's time for the closer. Pete's Posse does it again! Puts himself firmly in playoff reach. 131, took down Dell at 104 points, 29 from Mahomes, and then just consistency across the board. His running backs gave him 15, 16, and 21. His receivers both scored 17. If his special teams guys didn't go for 2 apiece, Petey's looking at a high 140s, maybe flirting with a 150-point week. Awesome.
Did he do it?
Awesome week for the Posse. So proud of my guy. And like we've said a couple times before, it is a playoff game essentially in week 14. Win and you're in, lose and you're probably out. For Petey and Kyle, we know who I'm pulling for, Jay. Who are you pulling for in that one?
Obviously the Posse. We haven't seen this guy in the playoffs in a long time, and it's like Lions. Lions are getting back to their peak here, and Pete's like just slowly churning. He found it this year. Pete's back, baby.
Let's do it. It's gonna be a really, really fun, week of games, and next week's episode is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a playoff round 1 breakdown. Upcoming next in this episode, though, like always, we got our FAQs, we got our guest picker, we got our picks. But before that, Joe, you want to head over to the trade corner? What's up, guys? Welcome to the trade corner for week 14. This was the trade deadline week. We had a lot of deals. I think our most amount of trades in a trade corner segment this season for sure, maybe ever. We'll start off with our first deal. We had the Crusaders. You're going to hear his name a lot. And Brawny's boys. Casey really, made a splash with this move. Jalen Hurts, Javonte Williams, Michael Wilson, and Jalen Waddle for Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey. This is very lopsided. From Brawny's perspective, he is trying to avoid the punishment. Christian McCaffrey's on a bye, so he needed someone to play. Basically, Brawny does not want to do the punishment, and he had to take an L on the deal just to have some warm bodies being able to play. If you think this deal was bad, it was actually worse. Before that, Jalen Waddle was replaced with Devin Singletary, and that trade got vetoed via our league. I'm honestly surprised this one went through. Really, really savvy move from Casey being able to take advantage of that. And I can't blame Brawny, but I just wish he would have asked around a little more. We got 9 other league members. He could have got a better offer than that. Owen said himself he would have given up Lamar and James Cook for those 2, which I think is better than the haul that Brawny got. Not too happy about this given that Casey's a legitimate contender now. How about you?
Yeah, I understand it from Braun's point of view. That's why the trade deadline, we wait till the end just because we'll get into Casey. It took him 14 weeks to finally make moves, but a good pickup on his end. I think he gave him, it's McCaffrey, so once again, but he kind of, it's a lot. So Waddle, Javonte, but like I said, it's Christian McCaffrey. So I think it's smart on both ends. Is it a dumb trade? Is it a gay trade? Some might say yes.
Absolutely.
But
J-A-Y.
I think Casey's team got better, and it's a sad day for everybody else.
That's absolutely correct. Next trade, Casey's Crusaders again. A lot smaller of a trade, a weird trade. So basically take out the kickers It was Devin Singletary and Jaden Daniels for Wandale. Ever since Dell's starting quarterback was Bo Nix, so I guess he wanted to upgrade there and go with Jaden Daniels. And then they traded 2 Giants backs. Dell had Tyrone Tracy. He went down with an injury. So it's Devin Singletary for Wandale Robin. This is a really weird deal. On top of it, they swapped kickers. Casey was sick of Will Reichard's BS. Traded for Cameron Dicker. I guess it's another win for Casey, given that he got a better kicker. And, I mean, Devin Singletary legitimately meant nothing to Casey's team. Same thing with Jaden Daniels. Because, as you guys saw with the last deal, Casey acquired Josh Allen. Jaden Daniels was nuts and bolts to that guy. Now he gets a legitimate flex because looking at that last trade, he did give up pieces. Waddle, Wilson, Javonte, all flex options. He didn't have a flex. Now he has Wandale as an option for that flex. Just another smart move from Casey, making moves, Billy Bean style.
Look at Paul using the P word. Pieces, baby. It's all about building the blocks. You got to build the base first, and then you go piece by piece, and that's why, hence the pieces. If you have pieces, you can Billy Bean it. Took Casey a while enough to do it. That trade, yeah, even though we'll get into 2 trades later, Wandale goes back home, but just that deal was just dumb to begin with. Smart on Dell's end, low-key. Daniels is going to be back, so playoff-wise, Dell's going to have him instead of Bo Nix, who
Dell
is
ain't
just...
Dell ain't making the playoffs.
No, not making the playoffs, but avoiding the punishment. Might be able to snag the 1 pick, too, because in our league, if you win the Shitter Bowl, you do get the 1 pick.
You get rewarded.
But yeah, that nothing special enough to talk about here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he covered it. So this was actually, there were 3 trades in a half-hour span. It was boom, boom, boom. This was at 12:03 a.m. The next trade you're about to see was at 12:05 a.m., and it also involved Dell. So Dell made a double banger real quick, 2 trades in a 3-minute time span. He then traded away Josh Jacobs. In return, got Genty and Marvin Harrison. It was a fire sale for 16 deep. Looking at Kyle's team now, basically traded away, he had a lot of flex options on the bench, so he could afford this kind of 2-for-1 deal. Now he's got some sick running backs. I don't know if it's Jonathan Taylor and Jahmyr Gibbs and Saquon Barkley level, but it's pretty close. Bijan, Josh Jacobs, and then Omari and Hampton. That's a really, really nice trio. Now his receivers are where things get dicey, but I would say in the grand scheme of things, this is a big W for Kyle. I'm all about getting superstars, and Kyle used his pieces to his advantage. Was able to snag a superstar.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this trade. Fantastic trade by Kyle. And that's rare. But I like this deal for Dell sort of too, because Marv with Brissett puts up great numbers. So I had Genty week 11, noticed his playoff schedule. I sold high on him. Genty's going to be a next year player. They got some work to do in Las Vegas.
Absolutely. All right. We haven't heard Casey's name in about 30 seconds, so we're going to get him right back in there. This was a deal with me. Casey was bothered. This was at 12:35, so this is a half hour after that deal. Casey was just bugging me in our text. What do you want for Bry Rob? What do you want for Bry Rob? I'm like, dude, why do you want Brian Robinson so much? Well, it's because he just traded for McCaffrey. And he remember, he gave up all his pieces. He has no depth. If someone goes down, a.k.a. McCaffrey, which he's done plenty of times before, Casey's season is basically screwed. So he wanted an insurance plan, and he had a bunch of handcuffs that weren't Brian Robinson Jr. on his bench. So I'll give you 3 of my handcuffs for your 1 handcuff. I was like, you know what? I mean, fine, I guess. So I got Emmanuel Wilson if Jacobs goes down, Kamani Vidal if somehow Hampton goes down again, and then Tyjae Spears if Pollard goes down, or he might just take over again. Tyjae Spears last year in the fantasy playoffs was running back 5. So maybe we see something like that again, but this was virtually like this was nothing. This was nothing. Casey got his insurance policy. How do you feel about that play? I think it's another smart move by Casey, to be honest.
Yeah, when I saw this deal, I'm like, first of all, like, what the fuck? But second, I'm like, the more, like, you don't see that at the trade deadline. Like, he is prioritizing that he has the guy there no matter what in a great offense. So I will tip my cap to Casey there. That was a great move.
All right, and then finally, our last deal, Casey gives Wandale right back to Dell. So Casey, that was his flex option, was going to be Wandale Robinson. Casey gives Wandale and Chris Rodriguez to Dell for Jawan Jennings and Ladd McConkey. Why would Dell do this? I mean,
The fact that Chris Rodriguez is being involved as like a serious piece here is ridiculous.
yeah.
What the? What?
Yeah.
It's a waiver wire pickup. Like, what
Yeah.
are we doing? When I saw this one, and I know we talked about it later on, but like when Matt and Casey were making their bullshit deals, this one might be the worst deal of them all. That was a terrible deal.
Yes. And so this is Casey's squad now. After all those deals, this is where he ends up. He's got Josh Allen at quarterback. His running backs are now Christian McCaffrey and Chase Brown. He's got an elite wide receiver duo with CD and Amon-Ra, the best tight end in fantasy by a large margin in Trey McBride. And then he's got McConkey, and then a really nice kicker in Dicker the kicker. But if you look at that bench, ooh, Algier, Bryrob, Adonai Mitchell, Bam Knight, Tesla. He's saving Patriots D, Jawan Jennings. This is really like he's putting all the chips in, but he cannot have any injuries at all. It's a
Still
risky
has
play.
Trey Benson. Like, that's where I was looking at it. Like, Benson's coming back. He's going to get the starter role right back to him. So, like, he's one deep at each position, like, on the bench. Like, it'll still come down to,
Can you see where my balls are?
yeah.
They're to the wall. That's what Casey's doing right now. Going
Balls
balls
to
to
the
the
wall,
wall.
yeah.
Because
Like,
he was right. He didn't have the pieces. We're always talking about those pieces to compete with EGE or with Paul's pals. I think he knew that he was getting a little bit lucky with that 1 seed, with that bye, and now he's pushing all the chips in, balls to the wall like you just
That's
saw.
right. You do get buys.
And
That's
he's
right.
he's here to play. I tip my cap to Casey. Great stuff, man. Really, really successful trade deadline.
I agree.
All right, that's it. Who won? Who lost? Sound off in the comments below. Thanks for joining me, Jay, and we are going to head right into FAQs with my guy, Owen. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Week 14 FAQ segment. Here's my guy, Owen. And, you know, I liked last week's idea so much that I think we're doing Cole and Owen start and sit of the week, rest of the season. That was a great idea. I think it was Sean or Ryan or whoever commented that. Great job. We're going to start off. Oh, before that, comment down below. You guys know if you want to be featured in a future vid. Owen, start us off with your start of the week.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go with Jamison Williams, the wide receiver out of Detroit, with the Amon-Ra news. Is he playing tonight? He wasn't listed as out. I think he's questionable or...
I think he's questionable or he's going to be on a snap count.
Yeah. It doesn't look good for Amon-Ra. It's an ankle, not the right time to get an ankle injury. Your team's in a playoff push. But J-Mo looked awesome on Thanksgiving, and I think that's going to continue. He plays the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's all I have to say. But this game has a lot more implications than people think. It's a big one. Both these teams need to win bad, and I think J-Mo's going to eat against this Cowboys secondary.
Yeah, hard to pick against that. They've been playing a little more inspired ball recently, but even in their past couple of wins, they still it wasn't because of the defense. What was it, 31-20? What was the final on Thanksgiving against the Chiefs? 31-28? Something like that?
Yeah.
So
It's 31-28.
They're still allowing points. So, yeah, I think tonight's going to be a bit of a shootout. And that's why my start of the week is going to be another shootout. We said in the next segment, you guys will hear, if the Bengals want any chance to win in Buffalo against the Bills, it's going to need to be a shootout. Their defense is bad. They're not going to pitch a shutout. Yeah, it's going to be a throw fest. And it would be kind of lame to pick Jamar Chase. So with that being said, I'm taking T. Higgins to be my start of the week. He does have a concussion, but I trust my guy T to be out there on the field. And he really didn't have a great game with Joe Burrow back. He saw 6 targets, which normally for T. Higgins, 6 targets is, typically 2 of those are in the end zone. He's going to catch a touchdown. They're probably 20-yard targets, so he's probably going to go like 4 for 80 in a touchdown. But that wasn't the case. He went 5 for 31, only had 8 fantasy points. But this Buffalo defense isn't the best. They're going to have to worry about Jamar Chase. I think T. Higgins, if he gets upwards of 6 targets again, I trust that he's going to put together a good fantasy performance. So toss him in your wide receiver 2 spot. Toss him in your flex spot. I'm high on T. Higgins this week. All right, Owen, who is your sit of the week?
Yeah, this guy's coming off a really good one. I'm going to go DeAndre Swift. And I think it's just for the sole reason that I think this Green Bay front seven is really good, and Kyle Monangai looks like an absolute baller in Chicago. I think this game's going to be won in the trenches. The Bears are going to have to play physical football. That offensive line is really good. I think they're just going to get physical, use Monangai, run it down their throat. Yeah, sole reason. I think Monangai is the more physical back. I think this is going to be a physical game. Give me Monangai, no Swift.
Yeah, so their game against Pittsburgh, Swift had 8 carries to Monangai's 15. And then in this past game, Swift did go off. He had 18 for 125, but I think Monangai went like 23 for 130 or something like that. So the last 2 weeks, Swift has been out-carried. Hasn't gotten a lot of catches. He has 2 catches in the last 3 games. So, yeah, might be Monangai season in Chicago. So I don't mind that pick. I do mind it because I'm a Bears fan and I want everyone to do good, but I got to take an unbiased approach. I don't mind that. My sit of the week, on the other hand, I was looking through games. So the lowest point total game this week is Titans-Browns by a significant margin. It's 33.5. But there's there's no one you would even consider starting or sitting on the Titans, right? And then for the Browns, really the only guy would be Judkins, but in those conditions and against that Titans defense and with that game script, I still want to start Judkins. And then maybe I could say to sit like Fannin or someone like that, but I'm not super confident. So then I went to the next lowest point total game, and that's 40.5. It's the Broncos against the Raiders. The Broncos defense is elite. They are nasty, and Ashton Genty is in for trouble. His last 2 games he hasn't been bad, 24-12. But, we like to talk about your Kansas City Chiefs as a black hole for running backs. Broncos are right there with them. And
they're black hole for everything.
Yeah, and I think that Genty's going to get just swallowed up. It's a season from hell for the Raiders and for Genty. And, yeah, they need a reset, but I wouldn't toss Genty in your starting lineups unless you absolutely have to, but wouldn't feel confident about that. So that's
I like it.
It's a start and sit of the week there. Now take us into your guys' questions. First one's coming from Sean Johnson. Is Chris Godwin a potential league winner? That was a really interesting question. I went and looked at his game log, and it wasn't tremendous, but, he's coming off of injury, so he's, on the way up. So I guess the question that I'll pose is, and Mike Evans is, coming back to practice soon, how are we feeling about this Buccaneers wide receiver room as a whole going into the fantasy playoffs?
Yeah, I feel good. I really haven't looked at their schedule, but I think this Buccaneers offense is the best when they're healthy. They finally get Bucky back. Godwin finally looks a little better. Like you said, Mike Evans is coming back. And I only think that's going to clear the room for all of these weapons. Emeka Ibuka played his best when Mike Evans was in there. Baker Mayfield played his best when Mike Evans was in there. I just think the more healthy they get, the more startable, honestly, they all become. Now, I think Ibuka's kind of like that higher guy. Godwin, you're probably gonna have to see the matchup, who he's playing, and then depending on how healthy Mike Evans gets and how quick he gets healthy, you could eventually throw him too. But I would go Ibuka, Evans, Godwin. I feel good about him.
See, it's tough for me with Evans because coming off a collarbone injury at his age, it's his second injury of the season. I'd like to see a couple weeks of production before I toss him into my lineup, but you can't afford that. I mean, we're in week 14. We got, fantasy playoffs right around the corner. You can't afford a couple weeks. But here's the thing. If you're in the fantasy playoffs, Mike Evans probably isn't on your team. So I'm not too concerned about that. I'm more concerned about Ibuka, and I think you're right. With these guys back, the attention's going to go off of Ibuka, and his target numbers haven't gone down. The last 3 games, he's gone 9 points, 6 points, 8 points, but his targets have been 9, 8, and 8. They just haven't been converting, and I don't think that's good. That's going to be a sign of what's to come because Baker has been dealing with some injuries, but he's only going to get healthier. The wide receivers have been dealing with injuries; they're only going to get healthier, and their schedule is pretty light: Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins. That's a really nice schedule for the fantasy playoffs.
Pretty good, yeah.
And then to answer your question, Sean, Godwin. Don't love him. I hate to be a negative Nancy, but probably wouldn't throw him in the lineup. I don't think he's going to be a league winner.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Matthew Trotta. He's always asking good questions. Shout out, Matt. He's asking, who will win the AFC North at the end of the year, the Ravens or the Steelers, unless you think the Bengals find a way to rally and win the division? So let's take a look over here at the standings. Right now, the Ravens and the Steelers are both tied at 6-6. The Bengals are 2 games back at 4-8, and the Browns, they're down there at 3-9. But there's a ton of divisional games left this season. The Ravens and the Steelers play this week. The Bengals and the Ravens play next week or the week after that again. So there's a ton of divisional football left to play. This division is far from over. Who do you see winning it?
I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I think they beat the Steelers this Sunday, and I don't think they run away with the division, but I do think they win it. Now, the Cincinnati's a trendy pick. If they get hot, they get hot. Kind of reminds me of what they were last year. They got hot really down the stretch, and they had that weird kind of play-in game against Denver. Went down to the wire, they lost. I just think they started off too slow and had Joe Burrow out for too long to kind of push their way back up through that playoff spot. Now it's possible. Like you said, I think everyone's 6-6, maybe 7-6 is what is it? The Ravens are 6-6,
And the Bengals are
and
4-8.
and they're only 2 games behind. It's definitely possible, but I think Lamar's been playing terrible, but I don't think it's going to continue. I think the Ravens win it.
Let's look at both of their schedules down the stretch here. So the Ravens, their last 5 games are Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. Let's look at I think the Steelers suck, to be honest. Even though they're 6-6, I think they're toast. Let's go look at Cincinnati's. Buffalo, Baltimore, Miami, Cardinals, Browns.
I get 3 free ones the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. So basically, I think the division comes down to next week's Ravens Bengals
Cincinnati
game.
Ravens.
So this is I guess a fun time to be not fun. It's kind of stressful time to be a fan in the AFC North. But yeah, it's gonna come down to the stretch. Joe Burrow, man, impressed me last week. If he can do it again, I might be picking the Bengals, but I'll play it safe. I'll take Baltimore right now. That'll take us into our next question from Play Calling University. Owen and Cole, how are you feeling about your favorite team's playoff chances? Owen, I'll start with you.
Yeah, not so good. Given the past 7 years I've had, there's always still that little tiny piece of hope in me. There's a little piece of me that still thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't really believe that. We got a tough one this Sunday. Sunday night. Get the Houston Texans with 3 offensive linemen out. We have to win out. That's going to put us in the best spot. And I think if we win Sunday, I think we do win out. We get Denver back at home. I think we beat them at home. But honestly, I'm not too good. Not too good at all. The defense can't get off the field. Offensive line's banged up. You need to win. You need to win the game in the trenches, and that's what the Chiefs are not doing this year. Patrick Mahomes can't do it all himself. Get off the field, defense, and Andy Reid, get your head out of your ass and make some ballsy decisions. I don't feel good.
Looking at this playoff picture, playoff percentages, they have the Chiefs at a 41% chance to make the playoffs. Not very good, given that our last episode they were at in the 60s, right?
I think the team, if we were to get in, the team we would get over, it would be the Chargers. The Chargers have a fucking gauntlet of a schedule left. I think they get Philly on Monday. They get us. They get Dallas. Dallas is hot. They get Denver again. And I think they get somebody else decent.
Let's pull it up. They got Philly, Kansas City, Dallas, Houston, Denver. You're right.
Yeah, I think we can get in over them, but we need to beat Houston on Sunday.
They're also just
Gotta be.
I just don't think they're a very good 8-4 team. I don't think they're that good this year. So you guys definitely got a shot. As for my team, wow, what a feeling. The Bears at the top of the NFC North at 9-3. Let's see what ESPN's given us. They are giving us we're number 1 in the NFC right now, yet we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the odds to make the playoffs in the NFC. They're giving us a 76% chance to make the playoffs and a 35% chance to win the division. And we do have a tough schedule coming up, but I mean, it's hard to ignore what we just did against the reigning Super Bowl champs. I mean, I don't know if, what was it, 21-9? I don't know if a 12-point win is dominating, but I just feel like, the scoreboard doesn't dictate that, but just the vibe of the game was dominant.
You heard the boos. There was a boo every play for the Eagles. The fucking offensive coordinator's house got egged. It's not looking good over there.
Oh, absolutely not. So we go 3-game stretch here, Packers, Browns, Packers. Then we wrap things up with 49ers, Lions. So it's not an easy schedule, but I can officially say I am confident that we make the playoffs. I think we can win the division because Detroit has their woes, and basically it's just going to come down to these 2 games against Green Bay. Whoever wins, if someone sweeps those 2 games, they're winning the division. If it's 1-1, it's still up for grabs. So it's a really fun time to be a Bears fan. Really enjoying it, soaking it in. And yeah, I can officially say that I'm confident that we will be a playoff team. After that, I don't know, but that's all a cherry on top.
I agree.
Finally, last question from Ryan Liebrick. He's asking SEC championship predictions. Bama, Georgia, this Saturday. It's going to be a fun one. We went into Athens, Georgia, beat them 24-21. The common saying in the NFL is it's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. For college, all my buddies have been saying it's hard to beat a team 2 times in 1 year. So they're not super confident about us beating the Bulldogs again. And I got to say, I don't blame them. Alabama's last 4 games have not looked great. We beat 4-8 South Carolina by 7 points. We beat 7-5 LSU by, I think, like 7 points. We lost to Oklahoma, and then we beat 5-7 Auburn by 7 points. So we haven't had really any dominant wins. We're kind of on the, I don't want to say the way down, but we're not on the trajectory I'd like to be on. With that being said, I got to take my guys. I'm confident in them. We win. We're like the Bears. We win in crunch time. We win those close games. Can't pick against my team. I'm going with the Tide.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going with Georgia. Like you said, it's hard to beat it. I'm not a big college football knower, but it's hard to beat a team twice, and Georgia's been there, done that. They've been here 5 years in a row. I think their dominance continues. Now, Alabama is playing for a playoff spot. There's going to be some fire under their ass. Coach DeBoer is going to get after it. He's going to be in that black hoodie, I bet. Mm-hmm. But give me the Dogs. Give me the Dogs to win.
All right, we'll see. It's going to be a great college football Saturday. Going to be a great NFL Sunday. With that being said, let's head into the pick'em where we'll talk about all the games. Thanks for joining me, Owen. Let's do it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Week 14 segment of Pick'em. Here with our guest, Luke Lakey. You're a popular guy, Luke. You were on the Bama College Take yesterday. Today you're on the Pick'em, and you're a busy guy, so we're glad to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm really honored to be here. Such an exclusive pod that you guys hold, and just so many subscribers in that regard too. So it's really grateful for the opportunity. Can't wait for it. Let's go.
Do you have an Instagram or any accounts that you would like to plug, for all those subscribers to go check you out at?
Might as well. Luke Lakey 12 on IG.
That's LACKE.
Let's get a follow right now.
Is it LACKE?
Yeah, so Luke, LACKE 12 on IG. Yeah, I'm with that.
Go drop a follow. All right, let's talk about the Week 13 standings. This was a big week. Joe went 11-5. Chiggs went 10-6. I went 9-7. So now the full season standings are razor thin. Me and Joe are tied for first at 118-75. Chiggs is in last, but by 1 game. He's 117-74. So with 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 5 weeks left to play, a lot up for grabs. A lot can happen. It's going to be a good one. And then, Luke, for the guest picker leaderboard, the score to beat right now is 12-3. So that's a great score. I think you got what it takes. I think we can do it. All right, teams on a bye. This is the last week for byes. There's 4 teams: the Giants, the Patriots, the Panthers, and the 49ers. All those teams have off, so that means we have a 14-game slate. Starting things off with the Cowboys and the Lions. Ford Field, Thursday Night Football. A lot of points in this one. There's going to be a lot of points. With that being said, I'm taking the Cowboys. They are hot. They had an incredibly tough 3-game stretch. This is the third of those 3. They went and they beat Philly. Then they went and they beat Kansas City. They're rolling. They had a teammate pass away. This season's for him, Marshawn Nealon. I think the Cowboys got that magic, and Amon-Ra St. Brown might not play. So give me the Cowboys in my upset of the week pick.
Usually, I feel like we're flipped roles here. I'm taking the Lions here. I've been big on the Cowboys the past few weeks. Lions, there's not many teams in the league I'm going to take with their backs up against the wall against the Lions. Lions are the team that when their back's up against the wall, I'm taking them every time, and I'm going to take the Lions here. They need to win this game to get the playoffs. It's at home, and I think we know how Jared Goff plays in a dome. So,
yeah, I'm right on cue with that. I'm also taking the Lions, even though I would usually ride the hot hand, but I feel like the Cowboys are a little worn down. They played 2 very hard football games, and they pulled both those out. Unfortunately, I don't think they pull this one out. We're looking at a Lions team that's very balanced offensively, so I see them taking this one.
I'm in agreement here with Luke and Joe. I'm taking the Lions. Jameson Williams is going to fill that Amon-Ra role pretty well. He had a great game last week. Hoping he does that again. Obviously, he's on my fantasy team. So, but I mean, yeah, Amon-Ra didn't practice this week, so I'm guessing he's just out. So this is definitely going to be a good game. A lot of points. Hopefully, it's going to be finally a good Thursday night football game. There's been a lot of shitty ones, so hoping for a nice one.
Z, you're
a lot of duds, I'd say.
Z,
Yeah.
You're known in the fantasy community for your amazing picks. Do you have an anytime touchdown scorer for this game that you feel confident in?
I mean, if I'm being honest, Jahmyr Gibbs is getting in that end zone 100%.
Yeah.
I'm taking his receiving. I'm taking his rushing. He's gonna have a day. He's gonna have a day.
Especially if
Hey,
Amon-Ra doesn't play.
Where did Jahmyr Gibbs go to college again? I forgot.
Georgia Tech.
Roll Tide roll.
Good pull. Come on, Jay. All right, that'll take us into Sunday's action, and I'm sorry we have to start off Sunday with such a bad game, but it's going to be a tankathon. Titans going into Cleveland to play the Browns. The Titans scored 3 points last week. I thought things might be looking up down the stretch with Cam Ward. It's not. Now they have to go play a very tough Browns defense in a very chilly and windy Cleveland, Ohio. And I think, that's Browns weather right there. I'm taking the Browns. I don't care who's quarterbacking them. Shadur Sanders, I know that's Luke's guy right there, or Dylan Gabriel. Regardless, Cleveland's going to win this game just based on their defense alone. They might pitch a shutout. My score prediction is going to be something gross, like 16-0. Give me the Cleveland Browns 16-0.
Yeah, this is like some midweek action here. This is not a good game. I think we're looking at it here. It's like, all right, I might just take the Browns just because they're a tougher team to begin with. I put shittiest of shit. That's what this game is here. It's the bottom of the barrel. I'm taking the Browns. I agree, like some similar score. I'm going to go like 13-3. It's just not going to be an enjoyable game. If you like defense, then this is your type of game.
Yeah, as already harped on, very awful game to start. We'll not be tuning into this one, but I'm going to go one gesture, 2 words, Myles Garrett. It's my pick.
Yeah, 100%. Give me the Browns. That's all I got.
All right, next game, Z. Hopefully you got more to say. This is your team, the Seattle Seahawks, heading to Atlanta to face the Falcons. We talked about it in an earlier segment. The Seahawks defense, Jason Myers, their special teams, they did a lot of the carrying against the Vikings last week. Now I think this is going to be the offense's turn. We're in a dome, so it's going to be a passing environment. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba gets right back on track against the Falcons. Mm-hmm. Seahawks are a great team. Like, I feel like not enough people are giving them credit for, Super Bowl, potential, but they have that kind of defense, that kind of coaching, that kind of offense. I'm taking the Seahawks here 38-16. Sam Darnold is a beast.
Yeah, even the Seahawks could have a below average game here. I still think they'd wipe the Falcons' ass. The Falcons they piss me off. They have one of the highest ceilings of potential in the league, and they just piss it away every week, and it makes me mad because I'm a big believer in this team. I don't know if Raheem Morris is going to have a job next year. If Packers fire Matt LaFleur, that's where he's going. Yeah, Raheem Morris should not have a job next year. It's bad. They don't have their first-round pick. But the thing is, their 2 first-round picks they drafted have been doing they've been doing great. It's like, why can't everything just come together and let's get some wins here? I know they need a quarterback. They need a lot. Yeah, give me the Hawks here, like 28-17.
Yeah, I also going to tail the common theme here and go with Seattle. I feel like this is a perfect matchup in terms of them, and they would have to play really terribly to lose. But in terms of stopping Bijan, that's no concern. Great rush defense in Seattle. I think like the second best in terms of rushing yards allowed per game. So I don't see a way that Seattle really loses this one.
Yeah, this is my lock of the week, actually. And what's so special about the Seattle team is they're good on all sides of the ball, whether it's offense. Like, their offense has been struggling, but they've still been putting up points. Their defense is unbelievable, and then their special teams is great, too. Jason Myers is awesome. We're getting a lot of deep kick returns, a lot of great punt returns. So we're a tough team to beat, and we got a great head coach. So I'm excited that this season's been going this way. So I'm going to keep it rolling.
Firing on all cylinders. Next game, we got a really fun one. Playoff implications, division implications. Colts going on the road to face the Jaguars. The stat that me and Z used last week was that the Colts never lost at home. They were 6-0 in Lucas Oil. Well, they lost. The Texans beat them. Now they got to go on the road to Jacksonville. Do I take them? No. I don't think the Colts lose 3 weeks in a row. They were 8-2. They're now 8-4. I am a Jags guy, but we were talking before we started filming. This just feels like a Jonathan Taylor game. He's been slow the last couple weeks. He's been sluggish. This is a great opportunity for him to light it up. And, yeah, this is probably my last chance I'm giving the Colts. You know, I put a lot of trust in them. I had them beating the Chiefs. I had them beating the Texans. Now I got them winning again. If they let me down a third time, 3 strikes are out. But I trust my guys to get it done. Give me the Colts.
I mean, this is an insane stat that I just fact-checked because I know this is a big stat, but the Colts have not won in Jacksonville since 2014. And that is something incredibly, that's like, and I almost took the Jags this week because of that stat. Because I remember when the Colts had to beat the Jags to get into the playoffs or have a chance, Carson Wentz, and they couldn't do it. It's in Jacksonville. This is my game of the week. I'm saying the Colts beat the streak because they just seem more prepared this year. Shane Steichen has them like it's a tight ship there, and I think that's I don't see them dropping 3 in a row like Cole said, but that's crazy that it's been about 11 years since they've won in Jacksonville. But like they said, Jonathan Taylor, I don't know if necessarily it'd be the Jonathan Taylor game. I'm expecting a big game. I think Pittman gets in twice or something like that. You're going to expect a big game from the receivers here, I think. This one's, like I said, game of the week. I'm going to take Colts here 35-31.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Colts in this one. As Cole touched on, Jonathan Taylor game, I fully see that happening. And I think right off of that, I think the play action game will be money. Daniel Jones, I see him hitting Alec Pierce over the top at least once for a touchdown. That's my prediction off of play action. But I think they'll break that streak in terms of winning in Jacksonville. It's a huge game, and I don't see the Colts losing 3 straight as Cole touchdown. Give me the Colts.
Good analysis by Luke there. It's making me want to change my pick a little bit, but I'm rolling with the Jags in the upset just because, like Joe said, that stat. But me, Cole, and Luke were talking, and this could very well be the JT game where not finally, but in the last 2 weeks he hasn't been himself. They could go for his usual 2 bills and 3 touchdowns, and Piercy's going to be doing a dance in Alabama down there. But I'm going with Jags. I don't even like Jacksonville. I don't know. I feel like this could be where the Colts just like they were so good, and then it just all comes crashing down, and just they missed the playoffs or some shit happens. This is a very important game for both sides. I mean, division, everything. So, give me Jacksonville.
Yeah, I like the game of the week pick from Jay. But Z is lone wolf in the Jags. That'll take us into our next game, the Commanders and the Vikings. This is definitely a shitfest candidate. We're going to see J.J. McCarthy back. The Max Brosmer experiment, whatever you want to call it, it's done. It's over with. That was awful. We're getting McCarthy back, and I know everyone likes to make fun of him. But with that being said, I think I'm taking the Vikings. I still respect the hell out of Brian Flores in this Vikings defense. And as far as the Commanders go, they're just not very good. Whether it's Mariota, whether it's Jaden Daniels, the offense is slow, it's sluggish. They had an exciting loss on Sunday night. But I'm taking Minnesota. I think McCarthy, jokes aside, it can't get worse than what it's been. I mean, it's been bad. And I just think he's a competitor, and I think he bounces back and gets his team in the win column at home.
Yeah, this one, I mean, it was another shitfest candidate. It's odd because the Commanders, like, one of their coaches just got hired for the Stanford job, and it was on Hard Knocks. And like their locker room's like very like upbeat. They feel like they're like bought into the season, but they just know their season's over. Like they had a lot of injuries this year, but it just two teams that know they're out of it. They know they have the talent to do it. It's just kind of like finding the footing for next year, I guess. And that's a big game for McCarthy. So I'm gonna take the Vikings here, probably in like a 20-17, 2013 game.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch the flow here, and I'm gonna go with the Commanders. I don't have much to say. I really don't like either team here. I think it comes down to the surrounding pieces. I don't think either quarterback play is going to be good. It's not going to be a shootout of any sorts, but really it just comes down to who's going to take care of business. And I think overall Commanders will play a much stricter and tighter game of football here.
I'm going with Minnesota. Like Cole said, I can't get much worse than the last 2 weeks. I mean, especially last week, they were terrible. I mean, Minnesota drafted McCarthy with like the 9th pick in the draft. I mean, they trust this man, so I'm not going to completely just say he's a bust, throw him out of the way. Maybe he turns it around here, and I think, it could happen, so give me Minnesota for that reason. Also, just not a big fan of Washington.
See, Luke, we know you're a hype beat of sorts, a hype beast. Sorry, you're a hype beast, but it's not 2014 anymore. Mariota's not winning the Heisman, dude. Commanders are going down.
It's got to be better than 9. That's all I gotta say.
National champion, J.J. McCarthy. He's a beast. All right, next game we got the Bengals and the Bills, the DeMar Hamlin Bowl. I'm taking the Bengals. I know they're on the road, but the Joe Burrow effect is real. I thought the Ravens were gonna cream puff Cincinnati last week on Thanksgiving, but they didn't. Now the Bengals have a bit of a mini bye. They have 10 days of rest headed into Buffalo. And although Buffalo won at Pittsburgh last week, it was just like they haven't looked good. They haven't put together like a good game of football in a while. And I think this is a great opportunity. Joe Burrow said it in his post-game press conference. He said, we have to win out. And the door is open for them to win the AFC North. Pittsburgh looks bad. Baltimore looks bad. Cincinnati, they got a shot. And it starts here in Buffalo. I just think Joe Burrow's got that killer mentality, and I think they get it done.
Couldn't agree more, and I haven't been more confident in an upset of the week pick in a while. The Bengals are playing fuck you football, and I love it. They're going to win out. I'm telling you right now.
I will say, you're on this podcast, man.
They want it more than the Bills, quite frankly, because they know their backs up against the wall, and Joe Burrow's one of those guys where you don't bet against him when he's up against it. Like I said, that was an impressive win versus the Ravens. Bills, they beat the Steelers, but it wasn't that impressive. They were down at halftime, had a strong second half. That game was really ugly. But yeah, I love the Bengals in this game. I'm going to take the Bengals here. We'll go 34-28.
Yeah, keeping it consistent. I'm rolling with the Bengals. Really, I think it comes down to the Burrow effect, as we talked about, and he's the guy. I think they go into Buffalo and they take care of business. Kind of a niche stat here is every time the temperature drops, Josh Allen's turnover rate kind of spikes. So I think that's something to keep in mind. I do see the Bengals winning the turnover margin in this game, and that's probably why they end up winning it, to be honest.
Very tricky game here. This is my game of the week. I'm going Buffalo. I think I'm lone wolf in this one, surprisingly, but I think it's going to be just a shootout, high-scoring game. I think Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, everyone is going to do amazing for that Bengals side. But just Josh Allen, I know he hasn't been the best this year. He's had his games where he's on. He's had his games where he's off. I think this is going to be a game where he's just locked in. I think his number one target, it's not going to be Shakir. It's not going to be James Cook out of the backfield. It's going to be Dalton Kincaid. That's my guy this week. Dalton Kincaid. Also, I see Josh Allen to do a lot of work with his legs here. So give me Buffalo in what I think is going to be a thriller of a game.
I like that. All right, next game, kind of a lame game. Saints versus the Buccaneers. Saints had a decent performance, had a nice little late comeback in Miami. Now they're staying in the state of Florida. They're heading to Tampa, and they're facing a Buccaneers team that they need to stack some wins here. You know, the Panthers are creeping. Had a big win against the Rams. Buccaneers got to get it together, and I think they do. They're playing the Saints. The Saints are bad. This one feels pretty easy.
If the Saints had like a semi-decent offense, I'd say this game would be close. But they find ways late in games to kind of put the pressure on teams to finish out games, and if they don't, then the Saints might win. But I feel like the Bucs know that they kind of need to start winning some games here, just because the Panthers are right behind them. But I really don't see the Saints winning this one. I'm gonna go Bucs.
Yeah, I don't think the Bucs have been all that impressive this year, but once again, this game kind of comes down to who they're lining up against, and I just don't see the Saints winning very many football games, if any more, this season. So I think this comes down to who are they playing, and they are playing the Saints. So just give me the Bucs, even though I don't love them at all this year.
No, they had such a hot start. And they've kind of cooled down a lot, but the Saints are just terrible. This is my shit fest of the week, actually, but I'm still going Buccaneers, obviously.
And the Saints, are they tanking for tie? Is that what they're doing?
Tie.
Beast. Next game.
Fernando, maybe.
No, tie. Next game.
National champion Ty Simpson.
Future.
National champion Fernando Mendoza.
No.
You baby.
Not a chance.
I think you're wearing the natties right on your chest there, Jay. Yeah, right there.
Really? Bold takes, eh?
Nah, I don't know. It's how they always fucking win.
Steelers and the Ravens here. Both teams have kind of disappointed recently. Steelers coming off back-to-back losses to the Bears and then the Bills. Now they got to go on the road to Baltimore. And Baltimore, they had a couple wins, but, they got punched in the face. Let's be honest. They got punched in the face. They got 10 days of rest to reset, and now they're hungry. And I think Harbaugh's going to get this team fired up. I got the Ravens winning. I could see Pittsburgh winning because they always do. They always kind of beat Baltimore when they shouldn't. So I could totally see that happening. If it was in Pittsburgh, I might be inclined to take the Ravens. But I'm rolling with Baltimore because they're hungry, because they have the far better quarterback, and just far better everything.
And for those reasons, I'm taking the Steelers. Like you said, they always seem to just beat the Ravens sometimes, and it always comes down to the last play. I honestly debated this as a shit fest of the week. This is going to be a terrible game. Both teams are playing terrible offense. It might be an exciting defense game, but Rodgers is banged up. Steelers defense knows they have to play well. Henry really doesn't do much in these games. If he breaks one loose, the Ravens win the game. That's practically what it is. But Steelers, this one's more of a gut pick for me. I'm going to take them here in a 16-13 game. Game-winning field goal by Boswell, by the way.
Yes!
Mm-hmm.
Luke, we haven't done this yet. So are you familiar with the game?
What?
We do a game around here. It's a field goal game. Joe always, once or twice a week, he'll pick a game to have a game-winning field goal. We've been doing this for 5 years now. We guess the yardage of the game-winning field goal. If we get it right, it's a party. I mean, tarps go off. It's awesome. So we got a Chris Boswell game-winning field goal. Luke, because you're the guest, you'll have an honor of being one of the guessers. Does anyone else want to go against him?
I think C's got it.
All right.
I think I'm feeling it.
Joe kind of.
Yes, Boswell.
I got it.
We got Boswell.
100%.
Got a number?
100%.
I got one of mine.
3, 2, 1.
54.
49.
Oh.
Yes.
49.
50s all day.
All right, Luke, what you got?
For this one, I just got the Ravens. I think this is going to be the Lamar Jackson game. Really, I don't think he's looked great at all this year. I mean, he's been really banged up, and last week did not look healthy. I thought I saw him limping a couple times, to be honest. But I think days rest, I think he'll be in better shape, and I really think this is going to be a game where we see MVP flashes from him, like we know that we can see. So I think it's the Lamar Jackson game. Give me the Ravens.
Fuck you, Jay.
Yeah, Lamar. He started off this season so well. He was unbelievable. I think he had double-digit touchdowns, 1 interception. Then he got injured. These last 2 weeks, he's been playing terrible. I think he's going to turn it around here. I agree with Luke, and I think the Ravens are going to plow the Steelers in Baltimore. So, yeah, give me Baltimore.
All right, next game, Dolphins and the Jets. I picked the Jets to win last week, and they did. I said that Kirk Cousins can't play in the cold, and I was right. Now they face Tua, who notoriously come from Hawaii, then went to Alabama, then now is in Miami. Never has played well in cold weather. So you'd think, like, all right, you pick the Jets again, right? The Jets are 3-2 in their last 5 games, which is surprising to hear. But no, I'm taking the Dolphins just because Mike McDaniel's coaching for his job. The Dolphins have an outside shot to get a wild card spot. And to be honest, the Jets are tanking. They're stacking first-round picks. Tyrod Taylor is their quarterback. I think the Jets might be a little upset that they're 3-2 in their last 5. Aaron Glen's job is secure in 2026. He shouldn't have to worry about getting wins. Give me the Dolphins here just because I think A-Chain just goes nuts. Give me A-Chain for like 35, 40 fantasy points. And I think they win a gritty one, 21-13.
Yeah, I was on this Dolphins train for back when they were 1-7. I pointed out to Cole and I said this team has it's a slim but a chance to make the playoffs. They win this week. They move to 6-7. Stop. It's not funny. But they, like I said, they were 1-7. Last week when they beat the Saints, I know things got a little shaky at the end, but you could tell Mike McDaniel was giving fist bumps. He's like hugging coaches. That was a big win for them. And they know they can sort of, I think they got, who do they got left? I'm going to look that up. But I like the Dolphins this week. Honestly, the way the Jets have been playing, though, like Cole said, it's kind of a little scary because the Jets have shown on any given week, it will be close. Yeah, they got the Steelers next week. Never mind, their schedule is pretty tough. Steelers, Bengals, Bucks, Patriots.
Oh,
Patriots week 18 though. Could be a sit situation.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stick with the Dolphins here. We'll keep in the playoff picture. We'll get an in the hunt graphic going here on the pod here soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it up from what you two said, and I'm going Jets. I don't love it at all. I don't love this game in general. Another one that's not even worth it to tune in. If I had to make box scores, both QBs throw for under 150 yards. I think it's going to be a run fest. I'm a little afraid of the A-Chain effect, but really, I think the Jets kind of keep rolling here, and I know they might not want to win, but I think they're going to find a way to win here, and I think their season's going to kind of come to an end.
Yeah, hate both these teams. Really only a bright spot for the Dolphins. Actually, 2 bright spots. Jalen Waddle, I think he had a quiet week last week. I think he's gonna have a good game this week. But just Devon Achane, everyone knows, has been their dude, constantly touching the ball and constantly racking up those points. So give me the Dolphins. Just nothing really to say about the Jets.
Yeah, Joe, A-Chain's going to kick your ass in fantasy this week.
This week, I don't care.
All right, we're heading into the 3:30 slot. We got the Broncos and the Raiders. Man, I keep picking the Raiders because I tell myself every week, there's no way they can be this bad. They have Bowers, Genty, Max Crosby. Geno Smith went 10-7 last year, so I'm like, something's got to click with these guys, but it just never does. I'm taking Denver. They're an awesome team. They're fighting for that 1 seed in the AFC right now. This would just be my luck. The 1 week I finally pick against Vegas, they get a win. But yeah, I mean, this one just feels pretty straightforward. Denver's good. Raiders are bad. Give me Broncos.
I'm still not sold on the Broncos, but this is my lock of the week. They're going to plow the Raiders here. Like I said, they have pieces. We've talked about this. It's weird too, because Pete Carroll, man, I mean, such a dominant coach for so long, and to see him fail this bad, it's like, yikes. So we'll see if he stays another year. Geno's probably done. I would keep Pete another year, and I would get rid of Geno first.
You draft a quarterback? Are you going for Kyler? What are you doing? Tua?
I think you go both, Kyler and draft. Maybe, or you can honestly, I'm trying to think who else would be on the block.
Aaron Rodgers?
They should have gotten Darnold while they could have, honestly. Yeah. That would have been the right idea. But no, I'm taking the Broncos this one. It's just going to be an ugly game. I'm going to go like 20-9.
Yeah, I really do love the Broncos in this one, and I just think that's how bad the Raiders are. And you might argue that they do have the pieces like a Genti, but really look at the Broncos. It's a perfect matchup for them. They have a top 5 rushing defense in terms of yards per attempts. But I really like the Broncos here. I'm not completely sold on their offense yet, but really I see them picking up a dub.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of talk about the Broncos just not being good. They had a close game with the Commanders there, but I mean, they got 10 wins for a reason. I trust them. I think they're a good team, and I think they good enough to take care of business over the Raiders for sure.
Yeah, they were 1-2. They're now 10-2. They've won 9 in a row. This would be 10 wins in a row for Denver. So they don't pass the eye test, but they keep getting it done. So shout out to them. Next game, very similar game, Rams against the Cardinals. We got a very good team against a very bad team. And the Rams just came off a Panthers loss. I think McVay and company are pissed off. Stafford threw 2 picks. Stafford might throw like 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think he's just going to light up the Cardinals. Give me the Rams here. I think they drop a 40 burger. Give me 45 to maybe they'll get some garbage time touchdowns. Give me 45 to 23 Rams.
Usually, like, this is where in the season where the Rams just played a game like that. And, like, in past seasons, it's kind of, like, translated into the rest of their season. Like, a lot of these games will be close. And heading into last week's game against the Panthers, I'm like, all right, the Rams are the clear, like, NFC favorites. They're whooping everybody. I still think the Rams win this week, but they always get contagious at the end of the year where they just kind of keep stacking iffy football together. It's like that's what separates them from not being in the Super Bowl every year. So I hope that's not the case because I'd love to see the Rams continue their dominance. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Rams in a close one, 24-20.
Keeping it pretty straightforward here. I'm going with the Rams. Major bounce back here. Of course, your boy bet Stafford did not throw a pick last week, and he went 10 straight weeks without one and 28 straight touchdowns, and he throws 2. So I think that was kind of a punch in the mouth, but I feel like that bet could roll over this week, and we'd be just fine. I think Stafford's going to bounce back. The entire offense is going to bounce back. It's going to be Rams dominance.
I agree. I wanted to actually trade with a Dingle before the deadline was for Stafford because I just thought he was going to do so well this week. And, I'm not in the playoffs yet, but, I'd like to have it for sure and get a good performance out of my QB. But, yeah, give me the Rams.
LMHT.
I'm aware. It's just, my team's a little banged up right now. My running backs, you're getting kind of snooped by their backups. I don't like that.
Vultured. They're getting vultured. All right, it's a Rams sweep. Here we go. It's America's Game of the Week on Fox. It's one of my games of the week. Bears, Packers. Luke, I'm sure you're going to be enjoying this one, right? Watching the whole game?
Absolutely.
Yeah, whole time.
Absolutely. Definitely will not miss the fourth quarter or anything.
Oh, no way. All right, we got Bears, Packers, Lambeau Field. It was at noon. It got flexed into the 3:30 spot. Everyone's going to be watching. I've been picking against the Bears for weeks. I'm taking the Bears this time. That win kind of woke up everyone. Wow. Super Bowl champs on the road, on primetime. And that wasn't even a close game, really. In the scoreboard, it was 10-9 at one point. But you could just tell, like, momentum-wise and vibes-wise, we were running the hell out of the football. Manungai, 130 yards. DeAndre Swift, 125 yards. That is disgusting. I know Jordan Love had a good game, but the whole story of Jordan Love's career has been streakiness and up and down. Now we're at the top of the roller coaster. We might become crashing down. The Bears defense could force a lot of turnovers. And I know the last time I got this excited was against the Ravens when we were playing Tyler Huntley and we lost. So I'm really hoping this doesn't, come back to bite me. But I'm feeling very confident. Luke, you said we're what, 6.5-point dogs, 7.5-point dogs?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I would have to take a look at it, but that's when I originally looked at it. That's what it was.
Give me
I'm taking Bears money line.
Yeah, easily. If we lose, it'll be close, I think, too. Give me Chicago. Let's go!
I've taken the Bears probably 7-8 weeks in a row now, I think, on here. I've been believing in it, and I'm not going to go against it now. I'm obviously taking the Bears this week. For me, the focus on the Bears is week 17, 18 now. They've proven this is the standard. They've proven they could win. These next 3 weeks should be wins, and that's what the standard is. 49ers and Lions, on the other hand, that's when that's another level of, okay, like, but you're 12-3 headed into 17-18, and you need 2 wins to get in to the 1 seed.
There's a lot to do to get to 12-3. We got to beat Green Bay.
I know you got to beat the Packers twice and the Browns, but that's the standard. If you could beat the Eagles, you could beat the Packers and Browns. And you got to stay confident. This team they understand what it takes in a 60-minute football game to beat their opponent. And as simple as that sounds, it's as complex as it sounds, because you have to be locked in every single play, every single minute. And Ben Johnson has done a fantastic job about that. So I'm not going to change my pick this week. Bears win. Maybe at some point it's close, but I think they win by. I'll go Bears by 7. I won't go extreme and say double dig, but I'm going to go Bears 23. We'll go 23-20.
That is not 7.
Love that.
All right.
It's not 7, but.
I love it. Unlike what I did earlier with the Cowboys and picking against them, I am going to ride the hot hand here. I'm going with Chicago. I think last week was a huge wake-up for the offense, especially against a somewhat decent defense in the Eagles. But really, I wasn't sold on the offense until last week. Seeing the balance that they had and just really being able to dominate on the ground. I mean, we're looking at a top 5, maybe top 3 run game in the NFL here. And I think Caleb Williams is a perfect quarterback to just kind of go with that and play action off of it. So I really see Chicago staying hot here. Ben Johnson's getting his guys in line. I love it. Give me Chicago.
Bring us home, Z. Bring us home.
Nope.
I think everyone knows what I'm going to do here. And, Cole likes to bring up the point. It's like, are you really going to be like a 45-year-old Seattle Seahawks fan? Probably not. I'll probably be a Bears fan in about 5 years.
Yes.
But right now, like, dude, I say they're my second favorite team. And I just, I don't know why. I'm just a dick. I just hate to see them win. I'll be completely honest. So give me the Packers in this game. I don't know. I mean, the Packers. I've had my reasons. The Packers own the Bears for the last decade. So I mean, it's hard to pick against them. No Aaron Rodgers. You got Jordan Love, but I just think it's still going to be the same recipe. I mean, maybe the Bears win like they did last week and over again, and they just keep proving me wrong. But I trust my gut.
I know I talked about the Rams catching their downhill. Last week for the Packers, they're kind of catching their up kick. So that's why I would not be surprised if the Packers pork us, but I don't think it's going to be a porking.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Can't wait. Cannot wait. That'll take us into Sunday Night Football. Another pretty good game. Texans going into Arrowhead to face the Chiefs. Chiefs lost. They are now 6-6. They have to win out. I don't think 10-7 gets them in because of the tiebreakers. They've already lost to the Chargers. They've already lost to the Jaguars. They don't have a lot of those tiebreakers. This is a must-win game, and I think they get it done. I would say I'm like a lukewarm conspiracy theorist. I'm not crazy on either side of the spectrum, but I guess my conspiracy here would be I just can't see the NFL letting the Chiefs miss the playoffs. That's their moneymaker right there. That's their storyline maker, and I think a great storyline here would be the Chiefs rattle off 5 in a row to make the playoffs, and then they go on a run. So I'm going to take the Chiefs here, but, I mean, that Texans team they're sick. They went and beat the Colts on the road. They got an insane defense. Stroud's back. Nico's back. They got that connection. But I think it's going to come down, the Texans cannot run the football. And in order to beat good teams consistently, you have to run the football, and that's what's going to come down to for me. I think the Chiefs win, and this is the start of their run.
I wanted to take the Texans really bad, and the old Jay would have taken the Texans here. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Playing it safe.
It's just I can't. You have to ask yourself. It's like, all right, what's going to be first? Is the Texans offense going to be better than the Chiefs defense, or is the Chiefs offense going to be better than Texans defense? I'm going to take the Chiefs 9 times out of 10 there. Texans still haven't looked really good offensively. Not to the point, like Cole said, they can't run the football. And Stroud's just not going to light up the Chiefs defense passing wise. So I'm going to play it safe here. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I'm going to be really mad, though, if it did bite me in the rear end, and that's what happens. But
you're talking about fuck you football earlier, and now you say rear end? Where are your?
It's
Where are you
different. We're talking about
staying
Joey B.
Okay.
Yeah, great analysis from you two there. Keeping it consistent. Going with the Chiefs. Texans defense scares me a little bit in this game, but I mean, if we look at it, Mahomes knows what he has to do to get in here with the playoffs. He's looked at the scenarios and he knows tiebreakers, like Cole mentioned there. Mahomes he's gonna take over, and I think he's got the weapons around him now with Rashee Rice fully back in full form. I love it. I love it for the Chiefs. And I don't see much in that Texans offense to be able to keep up with them, even though they do have a great defense behind them. I still like the Chiefs in this one.
Yeah, give me KC too. Texans defense it's unbelievable. It's really like I hate their offense. Their offensive line stinks. I don't think Stroud's been all that this year. Nick Chubb is old and Woody Marks is banged up a little bit, but I'm going with Kansas City here. They're just a better team.
All right, we're sweeping on Sunday night. That'll take us into Monday Night Football. Eagles, who have lost 2 in a row, coming to face the Chargers, who, I'm going to say it, I think they are the most fraudulent 8-4 team in the league. They're 8-4. They don't feel like they should be 8-4. I really don't like the Chargers, and I think this is a perfect bounce-back opportunity for Philly. I think they get back in the win column, and they beat the Chargers 32-16.
I'm a big Chargers guy too, and I completely agree with what you just said. They just they can't figure it out. Not a lot of injuries, kind of like have hurt them in the past. But like I agree with the Eagles bounce back game here. I'm gonna take the Eagles. The goals. Sorry.
Goals, baby.
I'm going with the Birds in this one. I will say not impressed with that Chargers O-line too. Their injuries have really rattled them this year. As a result, Herbert can't be himself back there in the pocket, and with him kind of rattled, I don't think he's the best when he's under pressure in that regard. I mean, I may be wrong. Look at the stats, but I like the Eagles. I think this is a game that, the Super Bowl champs kind of look like Super Bowl champs again. I'm not saying they're full Super Bowl mode, but I do think it's a good-looking Eagles win here.
Chigs, that's your point right there. You love bringing up the Chargers O-line being depleted.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, and Herbert I think he had surgery on his hand like a couple days ago.
Trey Lance did take QB1 reps today in practice.
Wow.
Really? Wow. That scares me because that's why I want to trade for Stafford right there. Yeah, that's exactly the reason. But nevertheless, I'm still going with the Eagles. They need a win, bounce back win here to just get back in the swing of things. But yeah, Chargers not looking very good, honestly. Herbert has not been himself the last 2 weeks. His last 2 weeks, and their offensive line is brutal. So hard to win games.
Omari and Hampton is coming back for LA. So I mean, if I'm LA, I'm looking at what Chicago did last week to Philly, and
It's nothing.
trying to
I agree.
recreate that. All right, that'll be it. Who had the best picks? Comment down below. Luke, thanks for joining us, man. This was a fun time. Thanks for coming along, giving us your picks.
Fellas, it was an honor. What can I say? Definitely an experience that I'll be telling everyone about. I mean, yeah. All I got to say is thank you guys for having me on. I really do appreciate it, and let's hope the picks turn out pretty well this week. Who knows? We'll see.
All right, that's gonna do it for us. Heading out. We'll see you guys in Week 15 Fantasy Playoffs. Deuces.